guys, we're on episode 20 and ito pong susunod na guest ko, I've known him for 30 years. Napakalapit po sa puso ko ang taong ito. Kaklase ko po siya nung third year sa St. Michael na Notre Dame, third year high school. Nagtitake po siya ng MBA sa De La Salle University. President po siya ng Graduate Student Council ng De La Salle University. He's part of the LGBT community. He's Vietnamese, so he's half Vietnamese and half Pinoy. A cat lover, army, my BFF since third year high school. I present to you guys on episode 20, Red Vo Vermilio. Welcome, Red! Hello,
Hi, hi,
hello!
hi. Good evening in California. Good morning here in Manila. Goodbye. Hi, Ben. Good morning.
Hello! Hello! So, super, super, super excited ako at my gosh, ang dami nating gustong pag-usapan, Red, right?
Yeah, I know. It's been a while. So this session will be sort of like catching up session at the same time.
Yes.
Of course, I'll get to share my own stories then along the way. So
Yes.
that people could learn from my experience. Okay, I mean, I'm not posing myself as a subject matter expert na for any of the topics that we will do today. Disclaimer, but then just the same. It's what I'm sharing is personal experience lang, so that people can take away from those experiences that I've had in the past. So
Yes
how's it
po.
going, Beng? I miss you.
I miss you so much. Eto, okay naman. As you know, we are on episode 20. And
Mm-hmm.
kinulit kita. Sabi ko, what do you think? Let's do this, right? So, marami tayong pag-uusapan, guys. Pero, isa sa mga talagang, it's very close to my heart because I have a lot of friends in the LGBT community, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
it's one of the things that I feel like it has to be talked about. You
Mm-hmm.
yourself experience this probably every day, right? For the
Mm-hmm.
knowledge read ng mga hindi nakakaalam or mga hindi masyadong familiar sa term na LGBT, ano ba yun? Ano bang LGBT? What does it stands for? And I also hear LGBTQ.
It used to be just LGBT, no? But then as we go along, I mean, people will always change, evolve, and all that.
Yes,
So what used to be very simple term like LGBT has evolved because also within the community there are certain spectrum pa rin of
uh-huh,
characteristics within the LGBT community, and that's when they started to define all the other characteristics. So it used to be LGBT, so it's
okay.
lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and
Mm-hmm.
then eventually there's another T, which stands for transsexual. And then we have the queer. We have another Q, which is questioning. We have I, which is intersex. We have A, asexual, and we have P, pansexual. So it's now called LGBTQIA plus,
Okay.
to be more inclusive. So
Yes.
um, when we talk about LGBTQIA plus, just to give you some information, LGBT, of course, L stands for lesbian. Everyone knows what a lesbian is. G is gay. B is bisexual. T is transgender. I've also mentioned another T, which is transsexual. A transsexual is someone who is post-op, meaning to say, biologically, they were man, woman, or boy, girl, and then eventually they have identified themselves to the opposite sex, but not really gay. Parang they identify themselves as the total opposite of their gender. Like they feel like they're in the wrong body, so they would reassign. That's how you would call it, ano, gender reassignment procedure.
Gotcha.
So they become the transsexual. So
Yes.
that's the term transsexual man, transsexual woman. Q is queer. Basically, queer is, how would I put it? The parang it's gay, um, actually, pero parang gay in such a term na parang drag queen gay, parang
Okay.
gano'n. So it's queer. So questioning, another Q is they fall under the curious category. So
Okay.
for those people who are still not within the spectrum, but then they're trying to, they cannot define themselves as bi either, but then they would want to say maybe try both worlds and
Yeah.
see how it goes. So they're
So they're
questioning.
not 100% sure about their identity yet in terms of their
Not
gender.
yet. And
Okay.
the thing with the LGBTQIA community, parang there's nobody forcing you to put a label on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, if you feel that you fall under that category, and then that's okay.
Okay.
So I is intersex. So these are
Okay.
basically um what's a term for this? Remember during our time there was a controversial track and field athlete whom other countries, well, this is our own athlete ano, from the Philippines, whom other countries contested as being biologically male daw, parang ganun.
Okay.
So intersex basically, these are people who are born with, I mean, would you believe it, with two sexual genitalias.
Oh, okay.
So that's
Okay.
technical. So
Okay.
if you have this, then you're intersex. Even though you appear more like man or you appear more like a woman, yet you have both genitalias, you are
Yes.
considered intersex.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Thanks, Red. Thank you so much.
All
And the
right, sorry.
A is
A is, we have two A's. One is ally. Ally is someone who doesn't identify as under LGBTQIA, but
yeah.
they're close to the community, and they have friends or relatives who are um part of the community, so they call themselves ally. Normally these are straight people, so they're considered ally.
So I'm
So
definitely an ally, dude.
exactly, not non-queer person, but 100% supportive of the community. And then A is asexual. Asexual, medyo technical din to eh. You are gay but you're not practicing uh your sexuality. So you're called
Okay.
as controversial one, pansexual. So when
Okay.
you say pan, parang from the etymology of pan, ibig sabihin parang malawakan, parang ganun. Like pandemic, right? So pan, when you say pansexual, you don't have any um um consideration. So either you're straight man, straight girl, either
Oh.
you're drag, even though you're lesbian, even though you're gay, even though you're curious, lahat kaya niyang patulan. So that's pansexual.
Red, where do you fall on this? Where do you
That's a good
consider yourself?
question ano. Kasi even though we have LGBTQIA as definition within the community, we have what we call Soji. No, if people are familiar, Soji is I, hang on. I just want to
I
make
have
sure.
it. I have it. The Soji
Soji, so sexual orientation and gender
and gender
identity
identity and expression.
expression.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So meaning to say, like if like I myself, I identify myself. I identified myself used to be as gay, and then I became bisexual, and
Okay.
then right now what I'm practicing, I'm gay. So parang
Okay.
ganon.
Just to be clear, ang gay kasi, ang notion kasi is bading, right?
Mhm.
Lalaki na may preference for men, right?
Mhm.
Pero yung
Exactly.
gay na term can also be used for women who prefers to be with women, correct?
Exactly,
So,
exactly.
gay, kasi minsan ang mga Pilipino, pag sinasabi, di ba, parang gay sa lalaki lang. Pero it's
Mm.
really for both sexes. It applies
Mhm.
to both sexes.
Basically, even though you're gay, that's where the Soji classification comes in, because that's sexual orientation and gender identity and expression. So even
Yes.
though you're gay, but then your gender identity and expression is man. So basically, that's how it is. So like me, my Soji is male. Parang ganun. I express myself as a man. I dress up like a man. I I conduct myself as a man, parang ganon.
You behave
Um,
as a man,
exactly.
like in the workplace, in the schools, right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
So basically that's how it is. So let's cite an example. Say there is one famous person in Philippine showbiz um, who identifies himself as gay, um, and his Soji is also gay, but he's a family man. He has kids, parang ganon.
Is that
So
OJ Diaz?
yes, yes, that's
Oh my
him. So
God.
that's
Talagang
how
ano
he
tayo
identifies himself.
Best talagang, alam mo na,
Talagang yung wavelength.
aligned, oo. Bilib
So
ako sa taong yun. Bilib na bilib ako kay OJ Diaz
really,
because,
oo, as
di
in
ba?
like,
Because
mm,
ang dami niyang anak.
mm,
The family loves and adores OJ Diaz, right? You can
mm,
see, I've been watching his vlogs.
mm.
Mini-makeupan pa siya ng mga anak niya. Ang taray, 'di ba? Ang taray.
Oo,
Where do you see talagang makikita mo na, ano mo 'yun, na yung love nila para sa tatay nila, right, for
mm.
Archie Diaz is really overwhelming. Kumbaga talagang talagang mahal na mahal nila. They don't care about what other people say, and I love
Exactly.
that.
I
I
think it
really
comes
love
with the
that.
upbringing, eh. And people are, how would I put it? As compared to our times, Beng, people are more considerate these days.
Yes.
I guess that comes with the amount of information that you get via internet, books,
Mhm.
or word of mouth. You have
Yeah.
more information these days, unlike back in the day. I mean, we just listen to our elders. I mean, what they say
Yes.
is the ultimate uh law. I mean, yun na yung totoo. Wala ka namang mababago doon. Pag sinabi nila, sinabi nila.
Red,
So we
balikan natin when you were growing up, okay?
mhm.
So, did you know right away that iyan yung preference mo? Did you have a hard time? O madali lang? Or one day you woke up na, okay, parang I wanna be, this is my preference. Or paano nangyari yun sa'yo, Red? Ano yung kwento?
I mean, mine is different, ano? Kasi parang of course, growing up and studying in an all boys school, I mean, you have no notion of anything that is sexual kasi you're all boys, eh, 'di ba?
Yeah,
So I think mine came as um how would I put it? My awakening came in such a way that I was very naive, if I would put it that way.
okay.
Because back in grade school, one of our friends, Ginger, Jasper Diego.
Hi,
So he was my
Ginger! Shout out!
I he was my classmate in grade 6 back in Notre. Tapos I would always see him being bullied by our classmates, our schoolmates, as in they would beat him up as in black and blue as in whenever I see him. Tapos um I felt like I felt sorry for him. So what I did was when I saw it one time, parang he was being beaten up. So of course parang I stood for him as in sabi ko, oh, wag ganyan, wag yung gagawin yan, ganyan ganyan kasi nga hindi naman tama, parang gano'n. Tapos he was so grateful na sinasama niya ako sa mga lunch, ganyan, sa mga recess. Pero ako, I was naive. I have no thoughts of whatsoever. Tapos, and then eventually, he would bring me to bigger groups, like yung mga groups nila Paltao, nila Villarus, ganyan yung grupo nila. But then, I was very passive. Kumbaga parang, that's when I started thinking na, ah, there's another group of people pala na ganito. Kasi
Wait, but how old are you noon?
I
How
was
old
like
were you?
12, 13. I was
Oh,
12, 13
okay.
around that time. Pero I didn't actually I wasn't thinking about myself being identified within the group, parang ganun. Sinasamahan
Yeah.
ko lang talaga si Jasper. And then when we were in high school, I got bullied because
Okay.
people would remember na I was hanging out with Paltao and
Uh-huh.
Villarus and Jasper, ganyan, Sabio, ganyan. I got bullied for that. Parang, tapos sabi ko, bakit ganun? Sabi ko ganun. Was there something wrong with me? But then eventually, parang, I just went with the flow, honestly. I just went with the flow. And when I met you guys, second year high school, that's when I started to detach myself from other groups. Tapos I started hanging out with you guys.
Pretty
Tapos,
Sixters,
yeah,
here we are.
so I started,
Naalala
so,
ko pa, siya lang ang ano, siya lang talaga yung sumali sa amin. 'Di ba, Red? Enjoy na enjoy tayo, nandun tayo sa van. Nakaupo tayo nila
exactly,
Cheng. Kapag po lunch
exactly.
time, nandun kami sa loob ng van. Tapos
Mm.
lahat kami may crush. 'Di ba,
We have
Red?
our own, we have our own community, parang ganon. We have our own
Mm.
group.
Red, nabully ka. Paanong bully? Anong ginawa sa'yo? And did you stand up for yourself?
Stood my ground, I stood for myself. But
Yeah,
then I went to the principal's office. I reported what happened.
nice.
And then what happened was nabaligtad yung story. Ako pa yung ano, parang ako pa yung nag-initiate nung ano, nung gulo. Parang gano'n yung nangyari. So, I think it's hard really growing up and being one in that kind of environment. I mean, if you are, if you identify yourself as gay or what, and you are studying in an all boys school, it's harder. Kasi nga
Yeah,
para back in the day, as in ikaw yung mali. Kahit anong gawin mo, ikaw
yes,
yung mali. I mean,
yes.
that's what happened. I'm personally sa akin.
Nung college and nung nagtrabaho ka na, did you experience any, bullying? Were you accepted just the way you are? Or, alam mo yun, meron bang discrimination of anything na na-experience mo? Sa workplace man, yan, nag-aaral ka ngayon ng masters, 'di ba? So, how has it been?
Well, that's a good question, no? Kasi I learned the hard way not to be pretty much in your face confrontational about my sexuality, parang ganon. So when I started working, I was very low key. And um sad to say, I lived a different life, parang ganon. Like when I'm at work, I'm straight, like super straight. As in ganon. I hang out with boys, uh Pegasus, etc. Mga ganon. Para lang hindi ko mahuli. Actually,
Nahiya ka?
oh, pero there was this one time
Sa
I
QC?
remember, no?
Sa QC
Yeah,
yan, 'di ba?
malapit
Sa
sa
Quezon
inyo.
Ave?
Malapit sa inyo.
Malapit sa Panay.
Malapit sa inyo,
Pegasus.
yeah.
Nilalakad lang natin, oh.
Tapos I remember, no, parang I was a trainee for this company. Tapos one of my trainees said, "Pag nakuha na natin yung sign-in bonus natin, let's go to classmate." Tapos sabi ko, you know what? Anong response ko? Sabi ko, anong school? Sabi ko, gano'n. Anong school? Sabi ko, anong school? Tapos bilang, sabi nila, ha? Bro, classmate. Sabi ko, gano'n. Sabi ko, ha? Sabi ko, mali ba ako ng sagot?
Oh my gosh, that's
But
good.
isa sa
So
mga ano,
straight ka. So straight ka din. And
sa workplace, oo.
sa
Almost
workplace.
lahat ng workplace ko. Lahat ng workplace ko,
Okay.
gano'n. I mean, like, from day one, I would consciously hang out with the straight guys, gano'n. Tapos parang, of course, parang I would act straight, mannerisms, etc. Ganyan, ganyan.
Red, bakit? Bakit?
Kasi ano eh,
Is it easier, you think?
no, it's hard. As
It's
in, it was hard kasi you can just imagine, I would stay for 5 years, 3 years in the company, tapos gano'n ako. So,
yeah.
kasi ano eh, instead of me trying to, ano ba yun, confront yung mga different issues that comes with my sexuality, I'd rather, sige, wag na nga lang, parang ganon.
Kumbaga, you wanna
Ah,
keep it private.
I'll take the easy way out na parang, sige na nga
Gotcha.
lang, I guess, this would be easier if I could just play along, parang ganon. Sige, gusto niya ba ng straight? O di, I'll give you straight, parang ganon.
Pero Red, hindi ba yan nga yung nakakalungkot sa society natin? Kasi, I mean, you cannot be true to yourself. You know what I mean? In
Mm,
everyday, in everything that you do, really, 'di ba? Kasi meron yung stigma, merong sabihin na natin na, 'di ba, hindi madali para sa LGBT community to be themselves in the workplace, maybe
mm,
in school, gaya nga ng sinabi mo, 'di ba, nabubully or nabubugbog or yung mga biro, 'di ba, ng mga kaklase natin noon. So it wasn't easy, and yun yung nakakasad, 'di ba?
mm,
There is this, there are several issues that you and I talked about. Nag-usap tayo sa phone, right?
mm.
One was the Jennifer Laude incident.
Happened
So,
back 2014 eh.
yeah,
So it's
so
one of the saddest story basically. So just to give our audiences an overview, Jennifer Laude is a transgender woman. She lives in Olongapo City. So what happened was she dated this US officer, and then they
yes.
went out for the night, and then eventually she was found dead in a hotel room.
Mm-hmm.
um Her face basically was in a toilet bowl, as in
Okay.
that's what
Yes.
happened.
I've seen images, I've read the story, I've watched the videos. So, si Jennifer Laude po, isa po siyang transgender from Olongapo, na patay po siya ng isang 19-year-old Lance Corporal in the US State Marine Corps. Ang pangalan po niya is Joseph Scott Pemberton. And so, nagkaroon po ng 10-year sentence. Ito pong sundalo na ito, yung from the Marines, pero binigyan siya ng pardon ni President Duterte.
Exactly.
Also, nung tina-trial po siya at nung sinerve ang sentence niya, dahil meron pong defense pact ang US and the Philippines, sa US base pa rin siya tumutuloy. Hindi siya sa hindi siya sa Philippine prison. Yun yung nabasa ko. So, hindi po tayo knowledgeable sa or expert sa mga storya, sa mga balita. Pero syempre, 'di ba, it was a national news, 'di ba, Red?
Mm-mm.
And so, nakakalungkot lang, 'di ba, nilublob na yung mukha po niya nakalublob sa toilet nung natagpuan po siyang patay. And so, ang storya po is hindi daw alam nung lalaki na transgender si
Mm-mm.
Jennifer. Pero at dinideny niya, 'di ba, not guilty siya. Dinideny niya na pinatay niya nung iniwan daw niya buhay.
Mm-mm.
So,
Exactly.
but anyway, that's one of the stories that really hit, 'di ba, the LGBT community at that time. The government needed to back us up dahil tayo mga Pilipino, kung sino man yan, napatay ang Pilipino sa bansa natin ng isang Amerikano. So,
Mm-mm.
ayun po yung storya. Then there was that second issue, Red, right? It was the Gretchen Diaz story.
Alam mo, sir, kanina sabi, nag-CR ka sa lalaki sa babae. Sabi ko, nasis kitang maayos dun ka sa lalaki. Sabi mo, bakit? Tapos pinipicturan mo na ako, pinipicturan mo.
Wala ka naman ginagawa, mas sabi mo ginagawa mo ng trabaho.
Bakit mo ako pinipicturan? Anong papel mo? Ha? Para sumikat ka? Uy, hindi ka artistahin. Hindi ka maganda para maging sikat ka. Ayan ang pinipicturan ko. Ayan ang bibidyo.
Kaya po, dito po tayo ngayon sa Farmers.
Ay, sikat siya. Ang ganda niya.
Kaya po, 3 beses, kita niyo po sa live video, 3 beses po niya ako tinampal. Pati yung cellphone ko, 3 beses niyang tinangkang agawin.
Ito nga mag-video.
O, ayan po. Alam ko mga karapatan ko. Tigilan mo ko. Pati sasali mo pa. Pasan ka dito?
Time naman po, nakikigamit sana siya, she's a transgender, makikigamit siya sa banyo ng babae. And yet, it ended up na yung janitress, right?
Mm-hmm.
She dragged her at pinasasan po siya.
Mm.
Parang kung in a way parang dinetain nila
Mhm.
si
Which is
Gretchen.
illegal, oo.
Yeah, dinetain nila ng ilang oras,
Mm.
just for trying to use the women's restroom or bathroom,
Mm.
'di ba, Red? Anong reaksyon mo dun, Red, nung nangyayari yung nung panahon na yun? Anong
I think
nararamdaman mo? Ano yung alam mo yun?
I think it's I mean sad is not even the exact word for it. I mean it's um it's an attack, if I would say. It's an attack to the community because um if you could just imagine, there was this one person who just wants to use the bathroom or the restroom. I mean, what's the restroom is for? It is to relieve oneself,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
there's no other business that you would do in a restroom, otherwise than relieving yourself, or maybe just go and touch up your makeup and all that. So
Yeah.
that's a basic use of the
Basic
restroom.
need. It's a health need. Kailangan mo umihi, naiihi ka, you know?
Exactly.
So you need
And
access to the toilet to,
mhm.
to relieve yourself. Relieve
So
yourself.
somewhat this janitress, I mean, she was really out of the way because what she did was she dragged Jennifer Laude to the management office, and then from the management office, the security group called uh, the police station to take Jennifer Laude, and then she was handcuffed from the management office to the police station. And what happened was, I mean, from the mall, from the mall, when she was being um I would say paraded, she was being paraded, no,
Parang
within the mall.
napahiya siya eh. Napahiya siya,
Mm.
nakaposa siya.
She was being paraded. So I mean, you could just imagine, no, what people are thinking during that time. And
Yes.
ano ba to, shoplifter ba to? Ano bang ginawa
Yes.
nito?
They
Bakit
thought
to?
na nag-shoplift siya. Yung mga
Oh,
tao
exactly.
nandun. Yeah.
Parang gano'n, ano bang ginawa nito? Bakit gano'n?
Public
So,
humiliation, right?
and then the janitress was I mean was even shouting yata parang to her peers. I mean, ang layo-layo ng mga kasamahan niya, and then she would say na parang ano, papakulong natin 'to, something like that, kasi gustong gumamit ng CR ng babae, parang gano'n. So parang
Hmm.
sinisigaw niya yung ano, yung supposed to be violation. But then there's no violation.
Right.
There's really no violation committed kasi nga when they got to the police station, unjust vexation daw, something like that. Unjust vexation, parang well, in fact, it's the other way around kasi ang binastos siya.
Yeah.
So dapat it's unjust vexation towards the janitress kasi nga siya yung binastos. And
So,
she was very calm the entire time.
yeah.
Siguro nakatulong din talaga yung um yung proof of innocence niya because of the FB live when she started streaming what was happening.
Right.
So it helped her out a lot in terms of trying to position herself as really the victim, because that's really the case kasi ang sinasabi nila siya yung umabuso, siya yung nag-abuse, siya yung nagpumilit
Yeah.
na mag-CR doon sa babae. Well, in fact, ano, parang she was just really calm. She was really, alam mo yun, composed. And when you meet Gretchen Diaz, she's a professional. She's a human resources professional. I think
Hmm.
she was
Yes.
um cognitive development specialist, something like that. So cognitive development specialist mean to say that you develop, di ba, yung mga examinations for applicants. So that's how I
Red,
understand it, ano.
ikukuwento ko lang na napanood ko rin yung video, ni Congresswoman. Congresswoman, the very first, sa
Geraldine
very,
Roman.
yes, first
Oo.
district of Bataan. So
Mm.
she was telling her story.
And at the UP, I would wait until all the men had left before using the toilet. So I was in Spain, I was in the Corte Inglés, I was heading towards the toilet, and then there were men at the entrance, and they told me, no, 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 señorita, aquí no está. This is not the ladies' comfort room, and you have to go to the ladies' comfort room. And I told myself, Eddie Wong. Ganda. there was a place where people actually expected me to behave in accordance with my true gender identity. And this is the place where I blossom because, it's a European country and their laws are very protective. They have very clear-cut anti-discrimination laws.
Alam mo ba, Red, nagpunta siya ng Spain, and then sa Spain, gagamit siya ng toilet. Ang usual practice niya is, pinapalabas niya muna yung mga tao bago siya pumasok, right? Alam mo ba, papasok siya dun sa toilet ng lalaki kasi custom nga siya na ganun yung dito sa Pilipinas, 'di ba? Alam mo ba nangyari? Eh, 'di ba bihis babae nga and everything yata. And sabi sa kanya, "No, no, 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 señorita, please, please." Sabi sa kanya ng mga tao doon sa Spain, "Señorita, no, 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 no. This is the men's bathroom. You go to the women's bathroom." Alam mo 'yon na for the first time, nakakalungkot lang yung story niya. Talagang na bumagsak yung puso ko rin kasi sabi niya for the first time daw naramdaman niya, alam mo 'yon na na may right siyang gumamit ng babaeng toilet. Alam mo 'yun? So, and sa ibang bansa pa niya na-experience. So, ayun lang, parang nakaka-sad din lang na merong part ng community na kailangan talaga i-address 'yun. Kasi Pilipino rin naman 'di ba, ang LGBT, part of it's a community 'di ba, na kailangan i-protect din yung rights ng LGBT community sa Philippines. So,
I mean,
bansa pa niya yun
kudos to
na-experience.
Spain, kasi Spain is so ahead of us, as in kahit in terms of representation. I mean, they have their first openly lesbian Miss Universe. They
Yeah.
have their first transgender Miss Universe. They're so ahead of us in terms of trying to be more inclusive of the LGBTQ community
Yes.
in the society.
Hey guys, we're on episode 20 and I present to you Red Voberbilio. He's very, very close to my heart. I've known him for over 30 years, guys. And he's currently taking a master's, tama ba? Masteral, nawala ako, Red. One more time.
Sige, go.
Hindi ko lang sasabihin, currently taking an MBA, okay. Hey guys, we're on episode 20 and this special guest is very close to my heart. I've known him for over 30 years. Kaklase ko siya sa nung second year high school. Sa ating nawala ko rin. Anong pangalan ng natin?
Notre Dame.
Hindi, Aquino.
Bonifacio.
Hindi.
Michael tayo naging
Third year,
magkaklase,
okay.
pero we've known since since second year.
Okay.
Nung Michael,
Third time is a charm.
Okay, go.